And welcome to Couples Walk, episode 20 of John's Eclectic Photo Time Adventure. John, a seasoned photographer with an eye for light and truth, was running a few minutes behind. His GPS estimated his arrival to be at 6:52 p.m., and the sun was scheduled to set at 7:09. That left just enough time if he hurried. The air was golden, the kind of warm amber hue that makes everything it touches seem softer, more hopeful. And John, who lived for light, wasn't about to miss the best of it. He was headed to Rosewood Park, invited by Andy, a friend from college, to photograph a very special moment, his proposal to Sally. The two had been dating for 5 years. The last 3 spent in quiet, steadfast love. They were the kind of couple who knew each other's coffee order and could finish one another's sentences without a hint of annoyance. When Andy had called John the week before, there was excitement in his voice that even a bad connection could not hide. As John parked his Subaru just off the gravel path leading to the gazebo, he could already see them. Andy, nervously pacing, and Sally, laughing at something, possibly unaware of what was about to unfold. A great oak tree loomed nearby, its branches heavy with the weight of years and memories, stretching protectively over the scene. The amphitheater seating around the gazebo was empty, silent as if holding its breath, in reverence for the moment to come. John jogged lightly over, camera bag slung over his shoulder, his camera R5 already in hand. "Sorry, I'm late," he said breathlessly, but smiling. Andy gave him a grateful nod. "No worries," Andy replied. She said yes. John's eyes widened slightly. "Wait, you all ready?" She said yes just before you arrived, Andy said, the kind of joy in his voice that could not be staged. John turned to Sally, whose smile outshone the faded sun. "Congratulations," he said, lifting the camera. "May I?" Sally nodded, hand already raising to admire the delicate sparkle of the ring on her finger. John took a test frame, capturing the joy in her eyes and the way Sally's laughter danced across her face. Wanting to maximize what light remained, John directed them westward toward the golden glow. The sun caught Sally's hair just right, lighting it like a halo, and their shadows elongated behind them like echoes of life they would build. He switched to black and white mode. The moment deserved the timelessness of monochrome, dark shadows, glowing faces, light caught between love and lens. The couple wandered toward the amphitheater seats to chat about the upcoming wedding, planned for November 21st. Sally sank into one of the wooden pews and quickly stood again, laughing. "We'll need cushions," she said, rubbing her backside, "or at least something to keep the people from squirming during the vows." Andy chuckled. "Noted. Cushions on the checklist." They moved on, strolling toward the stream that gently wove through the park, the water whispering its secrets beneath the fading sky. Ducks floated lazily by, drifting like little boats in no rush to dock. When the ducks noticed the humans, and perhaps hoped for breadcrumbs, they waddled closer. Andy and Sally retreated playfully behind a wrought iron fence, fingers laced, watching the rippling water in silence. John, camera now lowered, observed them from a short distance. It was not about the number of photos anymore. It was about capturing the quiet magic between them. Sally glanced down at her left hand, her thumb stroking the edge of the diamond. She smiled, a soft, inward expression, as if still letting the truth of the moment settle inside her heart. They resumed their walk, heading toward a small bridge that led in the direction of the courthouse, the one where they'd register their marriage in just a few short months. As they crossed the bridge, they paused in the middle, leaning on the rail and watching a pair of ducks preening on the shore below. Andy lifted Sally's right hand, pressing a kiss so gentle, so intentional, that John instinctively brought the camera up and snapped a frame. Click. A kiss, not just on the skin, but on memory. At the far end of the bridge, the couple turned, looking back at John, who had paused to check his shots. Seeing them glance his way, he raised the camera and captured them mid-look, the kind of photo that would, years later, remind them of a very specific kind of happiness. They arrived at the courthouse steps, climbing up slowly, dreaming aloud where they might stand for photos that November. Sally leaned her head against Andy's shoulder as they spoke in hushed tones, pointing here and there. The stone of the building, aged but dignified, bore witness to their plans. Then, as if moved by an invisible melody, Andy twirled Sally once. She laughed, a sound John would later describe in his notes as sunlight in audio form, and they began to dance, softly, without music, just the two of them, spinning together in the hush of early nightfall, the courthouse lit by twilight. Eventually, they retraced their steps, now moving with a slight jog, the kind born of excitement rather than urgency. They were headed to the restaurant where the reception would be held, 106 Broadway Street. The street lamp flickered on just as they crossed under it, hand in hand. They did not stop at the red light because fate gave them a green. John followed behind, catching the rhythm of their steps, framing them against the backdrop of evening's first stars. Outside the restaurant, they paused. The window bore a faint reflection of the two of them, faces close, smiles quiet. John captured one final photo before lowering his camera. "Well," he said, stepping forward, "I think we got it." Andy gave him a hug, and Sally smiled warmly. "Thank you, John, for being here." John nodded. "You two made it easy." With a final embrace, John turned and walked back towards the park, the light now fully gone, but the memory of it burned gently in his chest. Several days later, after long hours of editing, John delivered the photos, carefully curated and color graded with a photographer's eye but a friend's heart. When Andy and Sally opened the email, they did not just see pictures. They saw the way Sally's hair glowed like a promise. They saw their shadows stretching forward like an open road. They saw the kiss on the bridge, the dance by the courthouse, and the pause outside the restaurant where everything felt real. But more than anything, they saw the future, captured forever through the lens of love. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Couples Walk, episode 20 in John's Eclectic Photo Time Story Adventure. Please join us next time for Golf, for episode 21 in John's Eclectic Photo Time Adventure. And we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Thank you.